go through the list.
Recording's going as well. Link is up on announcements. You're all set.
Awesome.
I'm gonna step away again for a minute, but I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Is everyone able to watch the stream without any issues now?
Yep.
Seems that way.
Awesome. Get started. Let's start with SPY, right? SPY is current, so SPY here, this broke out of a very long-term wedge that starts from September of 2018. It broke out here and it's been running. And here on the daily chart, is making another wedge here. So, and currently this is the bottom of the wedge. Hope tomorrow this should bounce about this, as long as, I mean, the only thing that I'm worried about is the market sell off from the election or inauguration or the riots, but it should hold about this year, maybe a bounce, something to keep an eye on. I don't really do penny stocks, so this one I won't be able to say much. You can't even read these properly, but it broke out of a flag. Another consolidation breakout here. You'll be able to see this better in 4-hour time frame. Flag breakout and then a consolidation breakout. It did run. There looks like it is facing some resistance at this level. You can't really say much for penny stocks because they're pretty hard to read. They are pretty huge pump and dumps. You should ask Joe these questions. He plays around with penny stocks a lot. AMC is currently on a short squeeze. It's currently at the bottom of this trend, so that's why people are looking for this to bounce from this level. I think this has the second or the third highest, I think it's the third highest short squeeze ratio that's going on. It had about 3 to 8 days to cover, I believe, if I remember correctly. But this currently at the bottom, so people are expecting it to bounce from this level. Something to keep an eye on. I don't touch this that much right now. I would only play this if they somehow get some news and make a comeback by introducing something new. Until then, I think this is dead. You guys want laser? So these currently where laser is right now, these currently at the make or break level. It is being held by the 50-day, sorry, this 21-day EMA, I believe.
Hey Cal, the stream just crashed.
Wait, you guys can't see it?
No, I can see it
Wait,
fine.
oh my, wait, what? It says error occurred
Yeah,
on my
I can
screen.
see it.
Jason,
Oh,
bro, what are you talking about?
I guess just me, my bad.
It's okay,
on
Jason.
YouTube.
Alright, so these currently at the make or break level. This was a false breakout that it had, but these currently shaking out right now. This is not a break in the opposite way. This is a market shakeout. This drop. The only thing that I'm worried about laser is having any more market shakeout from this riots inauguration. That's the only thing that I believe that would scare the buyers away. Other than that, from the technical standpoint, this is pretty good. It is currently at a point where this is gonna make or break from this. I will cut if it drops below this level. If it drops tomorrow as well, that would just, I mean, that would be another shakeout too, but that would just extend the time on how long this would take to break out. So at that point, we should just cut the losses and move on.
Hey Cal, how do
Hey,
you usually determine which way the direction of the breakout on like a wedge like this?
so right now the market is bullish and it attempted a breakout here like a couple days ago when I first alerted, but it ended up being a false breakout, a shakeout. And
Mhm.
then this was the lack of buyer volume. Another thing that that I notice is, so look at the seller volume here, right on this candle. Look at this volume, and look at the seller volume on this candle. This barely, right?
Mhm.
So these are short squeeze. Seller volume has been dying down, which means buyer volume is going to step in at any moment. That's another
Mhm.
great signal to determine which way it's going to go. So in this case, I use volume to determine which way this wants to go. There, like even when there was a drop here, you barely see any seller volume, and then even the next time when it dropped, the volume is even lower.
Mhm.
The seller volume is going down in this whole channel from here to here. So
And then the
that's a pretty bullish sign. Yes.
mhm. Thank you.
Yep. So the only thing that you should be worried about is any market sell-off from these inaugurations and any lack of buyer volume. Other than that, this stock is gonna run at some point over the
And
next couple of weeks.
do you have a time
So,
frame if there's no catalyst that happens politically or in the news? Like, do you think within the week that it should run, or might it go
Yeah,
sideways for a few weeks?
if we don't have any negative catalyst, I expect this to run in a couple of days.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Cal, I forgot, bro. Did you cut your
hey Cal, how do
142s,
you tell the
right?
difference between seller volume and buy volume just using that regular one
So
color?
in this candle is right. Sellers are leading in this candle, right? These are red candles, so sellers are leading in this candle. If buyers are leading, this would be something like this, blue. So I mean, you can identify. There are other settings that you can use to identify buyers and sellers. Like you can turn on this. I don't like to. I just like. I feel like this would just make it look bad. Like look at this one. It's just blending almost. I don't like that. I don't need the color differentiation to know who are leading in the particular candle. So in this is a seller candle. Sellers are leading in this candle. So even in this, sellers are leading. This whole all these candles up to here, sellers are leading. So from here to here, seller volume went down. Once the seller volume went down, buyers started stepping in. We saw we saw it go up, and then seller stepped in again, and then seller volume reduced again from here to here. So after that went down, buyers stepped in again, and then from here, and then buyers volume stepped down, and then sellers stepped in, and then the same thing from here. It's just consolidation, a lot of sideways action, but overall you see the sellers have been going down and down, right? So this is a pretty bullish indicator that it's going to go upway. As long as we don't get any negative catalyst, it should go up. This is kind of similar to PLTR. That's the only, like, this is exactly the same pattern as PLTR. Look at this. So this one, couple weeks ago, we had when we played PLTR, we were about this range. But at that time, we had the negative catalyst from the market sell-off, end of the year taxes. So from that, we saw only sellers but no buyers. Even even here, you see there were barely any sellers in these candles. The volume just kept going down, right? So and here, buyers started to step in when when Kathy was bought in some shares for PLTR. That's when it kind of gapped up overnight. But at the same time, it's a short week this week, so sellers took over and they pushed it back down. So that kind of gives a sense of which way you can tell the stock wants to move. So a few weeks ago in the PLTR, right, when we were playing this, when it was about this area, so you guys thought this breaking down in the opposite way. But if it broke down in the opposite way, this wouldn't have come back up and made another trend and trying to break upside. And even when it tried to break down, it barely had any volume in any of these red candles, even lower than these red candles. So that's a good indicator telling you that it does not want to break downside. It wants to break upside, but some negative catalyst is holding it back. Like I said, like I always say, every trade isn't always going to go the way that we want it to. There are other factors, not just technical analysis, that affects how the stock is going to move, like market sentiment and buyers or sellers, for example, in this case. So tomorrow, if it does drop below this, because of the inauguration news and stuff, it just means the market isn't good until after 20th. So I may cut because I because in that case, if it does come down, it would end up making another trend line, something like this. If it does drop down, it would make another trend line, go sideways before it actually pops. That would just extend the time. So that's the reason I would cut, not because this TA went bad.
Do you think demo day will play any catalysts on that?
You're talking about PLTR. For PLTR,
Oh,
yes.
I'm
I'm
sorry. I
just talking
wasn't. I
about
thought we were
recent.
still on PLTR. My
Yep.
bad.
No, for PLTR, the demo day is a good catalyst. I think these gonna go up no matter what because it's really close to popping. It doesn't really have any more room to squeeze, and the demo day is very close as well. So
Right.
that's a good catalyst.
Okay.
Yep.
Cal,
Well,
how would you
this is
recommend
priority.
playing a short week
Can you
and
also
how does
do a
that
one
change?
All
hour
right.
time frame?
One after the other. I can't hear both at once.
Cal, how does the short week kind of affect the market and how would you recommend playing it with the short week?
No, the short. I think the short week already affected the market last week.
Okay, so I just haven't been trading during a short week, so it happens before.
Yeah. So far, like even the past short weeks, you see a lack of buyer volume just before the short week started, and after that you see a recovery. So that's what I'm expecting as well, unless we get any negative catalyst from the politics.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. What's the other
Cal,
question?
I have
Yep.
a question. So
Sorry,
this is priority. This is priority. You're using for one.
I can't hear you. Your voice is breaking.
This is priority. You're using 1 day time frame, correct?
I am using 1 day time frame right now. Yes.
Could you also do it for 1 hour?
Yeah, you can use it for 1 hour too. You can use it for 4 hour too. I just like to use bigger time frames. Like even on the 1 hour, you can see this. It's very big because it's 1 hour. Here, you can see this. Even are you guys able to see this? 1 hour and 4 hours.
You got frozen.
So even in this 4 hours, it's just moving sideways so far for laser. So that's something I'm looking at.
Hey
Wait,
Cal,
wait. You frozen.
What's up?
Can you do for ET?
Just tag me on the trade floor with the ticker you want me to look at, and I will look at it. I am going through a list because there are people waiting with the tickers on the trade floor. So for Riot, it currently broke out upside from this symmetrical triangle, and it is currently retesting this. I think this is gonna break upside here from this retest. So Riot looks bullish here. So does BTC. This is currently squeezing within this. I think this is gonna pop upside here, short term. At the same time, BTC looks like a bump and run here. This trend line and this trend line that I discussed over the chart a couple days ago. So that's something to keep an eye on, that it could come back crashing down at any moment. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen now, but from this nice consolidation, I think this is gonna break upside. You can see the seller volume dying down here as well. Not as much. There's still a lot of volume in these candles, but something to look at. ATVI is something I like for tomorrow. I think these getting ready to pop here soon. It's a nice flag on the daily. I think its next price target is 95.5 for me after it breaks out from here. It could happen tomorrow or sometime over the next couple of days, next 2 3 days.
Cal, can you take a look at T-Dog, please?
Yeah, just post on the trade floor. I'm going through the list
I
on
got
the trade floor because people are already tagging me there. SNDLT is something you gotta ask Joe because it's a penny stock and it's something you wanna play with the news, not the TA. From the TA, that this hasn't moved. This has been moving sideways since March. So from the TA, I would say it's not gonna move, but from the news, I think it's gonna move. But I'm just not following the news on SNDL, so I won't be able to say much. Joe and Shark are following the news on SNDL, I believe. These another penny stock. Try not to ask me penny stocks, guys. Save those questions for Joe, please. I don't trade penny stocks, so I won't be able to give much of an advice. I do better with regular stocks. All right, Netflix. Netflix, I expect it's gonna bounce here soon. This week, this is making a which here this failed because of the market drop last week, but this will make it just another wedge, falling wedge. This currently at the bottom of this pretty long consolidation range, and it is also at the bottom of this wedge. So I think it's gonna break upside tomorrow or Monday. Sorry, tomorrow or Wednesday in the next couple of days. FB, this had a bad news, right? Which ended up making it come back downside. This will no longer be valid now. I think this will end up being the new range for FB to play around. I think it's gonna bounce from here. Looks like it has a lot of good support around this level. A lot of support here, a lot of support here, and support here. Looks like this is gonna use this level to bounce from and make this as a consolidation range. I don't remember why it's so low. It was because of the Trump news, I believe, right? It came down. Yeah. Anyhow, I think this is what it's gonna be for Facebook.
I think the policy, the updated policies had something to do with it as well.
Yeah, okay. And they have earnings coming up too. It should bounce from here. When is the earnings? On 25th? Yeah, it should make an earnings run up from here since at the bottom of the trend and earnings coming up.
I think it had to do with WhatsApp.
Yeah. AMD, this is currently at the bottom of this consolidation range, even this like every other ticker in the market. failed the breakout run because of the market chop, lack of wire volume, and all the negative news. But this is currently at the bottom of this consolidation range. It should bounce from here, from this level. It's been failing all the TSFI. Did break out of this consolidation range, but market hasn't been favorable for AMD to late run. Something to keep an eye on though. These are pretty good support. A lot of support from here, here, this candle, and here. This should hold and bounce from this level. Snappy is something I'm watching for tomorrow. He's making a megaphone here. It is currently at the bottom of this. I expect these gonna bounce tomorrow as long as the market is favorable. Snap likes to do megaphones. These are megaphone here. Here's another megaphone here. Anyhow, I think it's gonna bounce from here. This is a nice cup and handle breakout. SLV broke out here, but market hasn't been favorable for this one. This triangle. Just ended up coming down. I think it's gonna bounce from here and make a run once the market is favorable again. Make another pattern. For now, we just have to wait and see. There's a lot of sellers in this candle. A lot of sellers. Slate work for a bit for now. SLV. Do whatever it wants to do. Nice consolidation breakout here. I would let this one work for now. This was a consolidation, but it broke downside from the market sell-off. Let it work for now. Solar looks good going into, as long as market is favorable. Solar does and solar is XPEV too. I think these two are gonna run tomorrow if we don't see any more market sell-off. They still look nice for a run. A lot of consolidation going on in this range for CLNE. Let it work for a bit. Should break upside again. Its momentum has been dying down though. Something to keep an eye on. Starting to make lower lows on the RSI. Be careful chasing this one. Apple. I cut this because this kind of failed this breakout here. So I was playing when it was around this level, I think. Actually, when it was around this level, it failed to run because of the market sell-off, market chop. So this is a pretty long cup and handle going on right now. This is a cup, and this is a pretty big cup, and this is a handle that it's working currently. It's something to keep an eye on. And another thing is this could be making a double top. It is at a point where it could be making double top if the market isn't favorable enough. But earnings are coming, so that's kind of a good news. If the market is bad, this could come crashing back down to these levels. 10, 108. If the market stays bad. But otherwise, I think this will try to break out of this cup and handle and make new all-time highs. It's probably confusing for you guys. Let me try to make a new one. All right. So these are long cup and handle here. This is a big consolidation range on the weekly chart after this big massive run. And this is the handle that it's currently forming. This one, if the market is good, I think this is gonna break upside and make new all-time highs. But if it's bad, if we do get a market correction or anything like that, this is gonna be a double top that will make it bearish and bring it down to these levels. Depends on how the market is gonna be over the next few months. All right, next one. This one's hard to use technical analysis on. This one's going with the news. It's hard to use T on stocks that are news plays, but looks like a nice breakout here from this big gap up and consolidation. We'll see it better here. Nice run here and then consolidation and then run again. So here, this is another example where you can see. So here you can see these candles. So the seller volume has been going down here and then buyer volume stepped in. This is another way you can read the candles. So this is exactly what I'm looking for laser and PLTR. Seller volume has been dying down for the past few weeks, and just need for buyer volume to start stepping in. Baba, this broke upside from this symmetrical triangle consolidation, but the market wasn't too favorable. This is currently testing this level to 43.89, but I think these gonna keep going up with the news that they had. A lot of buyers. Broke from this one too to the upside. This one I think is gonna start making a run. Market hasn't been well for Disney too. Failed a consolidation breakout here with all the market chop and sell off, and then failed again here. Zoom broke out of this pretty long term wedge here, but this was because of the market sell off. As long as the market is favorable, I think these can now start running again from here. Where this kind of broke upside from this wedge, but it didn't hold. So it broke upside here, but the market sell off and everything didn't hold for this one. It's a failed breakout. But here this is trying to make another wedge here. We're playing this run up here, but the market chopped into well, so making more room to consolidate and go sideways. Should bounce from here any day now. It's also pretty squeezing and tight going sideways. Past 3 days, 5 days in a row. Should pop any day. Open is something I'm watching for tomorrow. This is ready to pop here from this range any day now. It could happen tomorrow, it could happen day after. It's pretty close though. Microsoft, this similar to all other stocks like Apple, Amazon. This is currently consolidating, going sideways. I think these are gonna go sideways like this at least until the end of February. All of these, Microsoft, Amazon going sideways, Nvidia going sideways, maybe Apple. Hard to say right now. There is another range here on the weekly. This one, this green line, and this could be another range. Something to keep an eye on. That's another possibility. It could, like, along with Microsoft, Amazon, and everything else, this could just come down to this level and then bounce and then consolidate and then finally make a run sometime around March. That's another possibility for Apple. Market has several possibilities. You want to be able to keep an eye on every single possibility so you're prepared, so you're not just looking for one single possibility. That's how I try to go when I try to trade. I don't look at one single possibility. I try to be prepared for every single possibility and try to pick my watch list based on them. You gotta weigh in all the factors. CCL has been squeezing in pretty tight here in this range. Something to keep an eye on. Could pop any day now. It's a nice flag that it's been squeezing in. And it's the same with all the travel, kind of. This one's hard to do that. This has been failing every single breakout. Hail. This has been continuing this wedge the whole time. I got tired of following this one. This is taking its time to go. I don't even know what it's doing. Squeezing in really tight in this range. A lot of inside candles. I think all the travel is preparing to make a move. Yeah. I think you're gonna see a rotation on travel soon over the next few weeks. Could happen anytime, any day. They should start making a run once they break out of these consolidation ranges. I think it's about to be a rotation to travel stocks. This is another penny stock. This is something you want to play with. News. It did fail this breakout because of the market chop past couple days. This broke out and has been running, and right now this is making another small wedge. Should break upside. The market is favorable any day now. This one's pretty hard to read. There's a lot of sideways movement. This one's hard to do. Norbert, I will go over it. I'm going over a list here. I will go over yours. Be patient. There's a lot of people waiting. This one's hard to read. This has been going sideways for a long time. No particular pattern or anything. Wow. Norbert, be patient, bro. I will go over it. Wait for the people. I wouldn't touch this one right now. This one does not look that great. This one has some gap to fill here. Starbucks. Being a wedge here. They also have earnings coming up. Should break out and make some earnings run up soon. Been going sideways for a while. It's a weird breakout. DKNG is on high watch list. I think Kathy is gonna start buying DKNG over the next few days. I just have a feeling that she's gonna start buying it. Anyhow, this has multiple patterns going on. This has a pretty long-term megaphone here that's going on. It also kind of broke out from here from this wedge and currently retesting it. I think it's gonna run here upside. This has a lot of room upside to run. Look at all this area. I have a strong feeling Kathy Wood is gonna buy this stock soon. So I use 10-day, 20-day, 50-day, 200-day SMA, and hold on. Alright. I use 10, 20, 50, 200-day SMAs, 50-day, 21-day, 8-day, and EMAs for the moving averages. Sometimes I even lose track. This one doesn't look too good from this sell-off, but I think it's gonna bounce here. Wow. These currently testing this level. I take that back. This level is a pretty strong one, 51.1. The run so far looks pretty bullish. If this can break this level, the next big resistance is around this level, 54.5. I think it's gonna have a hard time breaking these walls, but it will. GILD, this support held pretty well. Currently trying to consolidate for a bit. I will let it work, but should break out upside soon. Looks pretty bullish so far. Lots of resistance coming up in this area. Making a cup and handle here. A lot of consolidation in a giant cup. Watch for a breakout of this range. Breakout over 10.15, it should run. We already went over this one. Tesla. So this currently failed a breakout here. So from the market sell-off, this failed a breakout here, came down a bit. This is currently kind of making a bump and run. Actually, I take that back. Not anymore. The market sell-off didn't do that well for that one. Earnings can be a big factor. Earnings will either make or break for Tesla. It's been running hard into earnings. This one is a correction. I wouldn't chase this one. This one was a failed breakout from the market sentiment last week. I wouldn't chase this one. You'd be stupid to blindly chase this without any proper setup. I already went over BTC. I think it's gonna break upside here. It's been squeezing in pretty tight. Should break upside here soon. Yeah, this one should break upside here soon. But this also making a bump and run, so this could come crashing down any moment. Just be aware. TTCF looks pretty good. This broke out here and rejected because of the market sell-off, but I expect this gonna resume the trend and hit its new price targets. My price target is $30 over the next few weeks. This is a nice breakout from this flag. Just the market hasn't been too favorable for this one, along with all other stocks. Watch for a bounce on this here soon. This support looks pretty good so far for this one. HT looks, this one is taking its time. I think this one's gonna consolidate as well. I think all these stocks are gonna consolidate at least until February or so before they start breaking out and running. Looks like a breakout on this one. See if this holds and it keeps running. This is currently making a wedge along with Blink. A lot of wedges across the board from the market sell-off this past week. Looks like a breakout here, but sold off from the market sell-off. This is a big breakout. I don't play around with penny stocks, but February 19, 1.5. You don't want to buy options on stocks like this. You want to buy shares if you want to play pennies. I rarely use MACD 2 lines, but I have the setting 3, 10, 16. I rarely use TDM squeeze as well. I just use the regular settings for this one. The only ones that I rarely use are volume, RSI, and moving averages. So RSI is just a regular one. Volume is a regular one. And simple moving averages 5, 10, 20, 200-day SMAs, and exponential moving averages 5, 18, 21 EMAs. Those are what I use. Everything else, like I don't really use them except volume and RSI. I just use the basics. I don't try to overcomplicate my chart. Do not try to overcomplicate your chart. It's pointless. Just learn the basics like these moving averages. Just use 5-day, 10-day. Sorry, not 5-day, 10-day, 20-day, 200-day, and 50-day simple moving averages and 50-day EMAs, and you're set. You don't really need anything else. And the RSI and the volume. Everything else will basically tell you what these things are already telling you. So if a stock is moving above the moving averages, it's bullish. And if a stock is moving below the moving averages, it's bearish. And the volume, if there's a buyer increasing buyer volume, that's bullish. If there's a decreasing buyer volume, it means the stock is going to reverse at any day. RSI, watch if it is making higher high, if it is making lower lows while the stock is making higher highs, that's a bearish indicator. That's a bearish divergence and vice versa. So you want to learn the basics like this and understand them, because every other indicator will tell you what these things are already telling you. So TDM squeeze, for example, I don't need the TDM squeeze here to tell me that it is squeezing, because I can already look at this simply and say this is squeezing. It's been moving sideways along all the moving averages. I didn't need to look at my TDM squeeze telling me that this stock is squeezing. Just something I use just in case if I can't tell, but for 95% of the cases, I don't need to use this. I can just tell by looking at the chart to see what it is showing. And MACD and TDM squeeze, these two are lagging indicators. So this will tell you these are delayed. So for this MACD, you don't need this MACD to tell you this bearish. You already know this looks bearish from this red candles. And the same thing. So every time this is lagging, so every time this red candle you see it go down, it lags. It tells you what this chart is already telling you. So learn the volume, price action, moving averages, and RSI, and you don't need anything else. Don't try to overcomplicate your chart. So SDC, I would wait for it. I would let it work, but I would see if this will come down here. Actually, if you want to buy February, I think it'll be fine. Start small and average it down if needed. But this support seems to be holding pretty well so far. So if it does come down, you can always average it down. So start small. If you're buying February calls, I think you'll be fine. Roku has been flying. Wow, he's still doing really well. Roku has been flying like crazy the past 3 weeks since November. It's a nice breakout here, and I think they're just gonna make another breakout here soon from this range if the market is favorable for this. I think he's gonna run again. Roku has been pretty strong so far. This is gonna be like the plug run so far. This looks like a plug run so far. This has no stops. Arcade, I personally don't like to trade this stock a lot because this has been going sideways for a pretty long time. This is not this is not my favorite price action to play, but these currently moving at the bottom on a pretty strong support. If you want to play this, you want to buy really far out expiration calls like March or May or July, one of those. You don't want to play weeklies or something close. NNDM, this already broke out, but the market didn't do so well for this one. But it looks like these trying to consolidate again. I think this one's gonna run again. If the market is favorable, I think it'll run tomorrow or so. Day after. This is one of the stocks that's been running pretty hard. NNDM. Next stop, $13 for this one. XL, this has been going sideways. The market chop hasn't been doing so well for this one, but this has been a pretty long consolidation.
No.
Hi, could you please mute your mic, man? All right. So this has been a pretty long consolidation so far, but this could pop from this range any day. It doesn't have a lot of volume in any of these candles. Just the market hasn't been too good for this one. Cut 129 calls for what? For laser? Yeah, I maybe if the market isn't good, I might cut all the calls for this one because that would just mean, I mean, that would mean if I cut the calls, that would just mean it will break out, but the time may not be enough. Because if it does come down, it would end up consolidating long, like for a few more weeks, just like PLTR has been doing. So when this broke out from this range, came down from this shake off, and then decided to consolidate for another couple of weeks. So if laser does sell off from the market sell off with any negative catalyst, I expect that's what will happen for laser as well. Consolidate for a few more weeks. So at that point, it would be stupid to hold any calls for laser. I would just cut it and move on to a different stock. We can't really control the news in the market. Looks like a megaphone on this one so far. This one's hard to say. This has just been going sideways. Not a lot of movement on this one. Few bodies, another fair breakout from the market sell-off, but looks like these making another small wedge here. If the market is favorable, I expect a big run on all from all these falling wedges all across the board this week. DQ, this another thing that failed this breakout from the consolidation, but I think this can still run from this range if we don't get any more negative catalyst. Another falling wedge. This one wants to bounce from this 8-day EMA and 10-day SMA from here. This one looks pretty bullish so far. I think this is gonna bounce from this support. This has pretty good support around this range. This one looks like good support. I think it's gonna run going into tomorrow. The market sell-off didn't even do anything to this one. This one looks solid. I think it's gonna gap up in the pre-market and run. This one looks pretty gross. There's a problem with penny stocks. They're huge pump and dumps. Look at this. These candles don't even make sense. These are just straight up pump and dumps.
Cal, did you already do XPEV? If not, I'll go put it in the chat. But
I did do expo at the beginning of
okay,
this.
yeah, I'll just look back on the stream. Thank you.
Yep. This one is squeezing in real tight here. This can pop any day now. I think we're about to see some good make or break in the market. We're at a point where if we see a market correction, all of these stocks will probably come down crashing. If we do get a market correction, otherwise we're gonna see some new all-time highs. All right, so T-Dog, everyone's asking about this one. So this one broke out of a pretty long consolidation from this last week or so, and it has been testing this and making a nice little flag here. A lot of inside candles. I bought it when it was around this level at the perfect opportunity. Only upside for this one. This one, that's why I only like the February. The calls were expensive, but it's a chance I was taking because the call is a month out. The TA and everything looks good. Even if we get any native catalyst and this does sell off for a couple days or so, we have time until February. This should bounce from this. It already broke out of this consolidation. So this should bounce from this range, from this flag, and keep running. I think this one is going to be $300 over the next couple months, or the next few weeks. I really like this one. That's the reason Kathy has been buying this, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I really like this one. I'm gonna hold it until profits, even if we see any shake out in the market. It would be stupid to sell this one without profits. Lot of time and not much to worry about. Wheat stocks have been doing pretty well. This TLRY, it broke out of this consolidation range has been continuously running. I think these stocks are gonna have a good time this year. Wow, there's a lot of pump and dump. Maybe the Biden presidency will change it for all the wheat stocks. This broke out from this wedge, but it's been running ever since. Broke out and been running. CGC, this one looks good. This one has been running pretty well. Broke out from this range. GRWG looks good. This one has been running pretty nice. Run consolidation. Should be another run from this range. Or watch for a break of 51.28. Sorry, 52.4. Or watch for a break of that level. I think this one's gonna make some more new all-time highs and keep running. This one's a good one to play if you wanna play something. BYND, this broke out of a pretty long-term wedge here, and I'm bullish on this one as well. I think this one's gonna keep running. It's a nice test of this. This one's a nice one. It held 50-day EMA as a support here on this candle. I think this one's gonna keep running. BYND. I already went over Mara and Riot. This one follows the same. Oh wow, this one looks just the same as we get Bitcoin. This should break out here and run at the same time. I already went over Bitcoin, bro. Bitcoin. This is forming a bump and run for the long term, but for the short term, this is consolidating tight, making asymmetrical triangle wanting to break upside. So watch for a breakout from this level. Short term, this one looks bullish, but I wouldn't hold this one too long. This could come crashing down any day. You're basically chasing it. Already went to our MD. I already went to our BA. This one's pretty weird. From all this market sell-off. What's the ticker for Bitcoin Cash? Anyone? Is there a ticker for Bitcoin Cash? Is it BCH?
ECH.
Yeah, BCH. Why would you buy this one, man? Wait, you said BCH?
Yeah, BCH.
Is it this one? I can't find the ticker for Bitcoin Cash. I don't follow it.
Try
Don't
BCH
bother,
dash
Cal.
USD.
Like this? It's gotta be this. Is it this one? Can anyone confirm?
No, it's currently around 500 right now.
Yeah, I can't pull the sticker. Bitcoin Cash on GOS. Norbert, if you have a ticker, I'll go through it. I can't find the ticker for this one. You gotta give me the ticker. Alright, so this one has been using this level as a support for a pretty long time here. There's a lot of big squeeze going on and it has earnings come up. When are the earnings? This earnings are this week. Tomorrow? Looks like these earnings are tomorrow. I mean, I can't really predict earnings. This one is gonna make or break this from this level based on the earnings. If it's a good earnings, it's gonna bounce. Otherwise, it's gonna come crashing. But it's at a point where you can't really say what he's gonna do. You just have to wait to see how they perform in the earnings. OSTK, this broke out of a pretty long wedge here, but it still hasn't been running that well. I'm bullish on this one because it already broke out from this level on the weekly chart here. Just hasn't been holding because of the lack of buyers, but this should run again with a stable market over the coming weeks. This is a pretty important level to watch for. There's a nice descending channel that it's been holding and it also broke out of this range. So it's at a point where it's gonna make or break here. Reject this, come back down, or and then retest and then bounce, or break out here and then make a bull run. Already went over this one. Already went over BLNK. Oxy, I suggested to buy some shares or pretty long-term calls when Oxy was here around $15 or so, 15 to $16. It's been running. If you are still holding the shares, if you bought it and still holding, you're getting paid. If not, oh well. But I'm bullish on this one. There's a nice golden cross that it showed here, and there's a nice consolidation range that it already broke out of and making a run. Just I already checked plug power, bro. Just scroll back. I can't go with the same ticker multiple times. All right, so it broke out of this nice consolidation range here. Just sold off from the market sell-off last week on Friday, but this should keep running. If you bought the shares when I alerted, and if you're still holding them, you must be getting paid. I would bag hold it for a bit more because these are pretty strong resistance level. From this, it should break. This one looks pretty bullish so far. This should make a run from this level. You can hold it for a few more months. You'll practically get 100% returns if you're holding shares at least once it breaks this level, because I alerted it when it was around $15-16 and it's at $23 right now. Pins market hasn't been doing pins too well. This is having a very hard time breaking out of this range. Several attempts to break out of this, but the market's a lot of short weeks and lack of buyer volume has been weighing this one down. I think this one's gonna keep attempting it again. Once the market gets a little stable, I think he's gonna attempt and go for new all-time highs. SPG. This 50-day EMA has been holding this one really well as a support all these past 3 weeks. This one should pop here any day. Actually, it kind of already did a couple days ago out of this long consolidation. I think this one's gonna keep running more. I already went over Baba. If so, I think if Zell is gonna consolidate since we are over the Jan 15 calls, these and they also have earnings coming up in a couple days. I would wait for the earnings before playing this one. Earnings will either make or break for this one. The one thing I noticed this one is that they have monthly expirations, so every time after the monthly expiration, it consolidates for a couple weeks, and then a couple weeks before the next one expires, it starts running again. This has been repeating this one for a few months now, since November or so, and we just the Jan 15 expiration just expired. Next one is February 19th. So I think this one's gonna consolidate for another couple weeks before making another run, as long as they have some decent earnings. This one broke out of this range, but the market sell-off didn't do it too well. And looks like this is making a falling wedge here. I'll watch for a bounce from this level here soon. Has some good support here at the 21-day EMA and 20-day SMA. That is using it as support. If it can hold this level, I think he's gonna break out and make another run. A lot of consolidation going on here. Making a nice falling wedge here on the weekly chart. Should bounce from here soon. Wait till it finds a support. Should break out after that and make a run. HYLN has a pretty good support here. This has been going sideways and squeezing it tight. Should break out here and there now. KO, this broke downside, but this is currently on the 200-day EMA. This should either make or break for this one. As long as it holds, it should bounce from this level. If it does fall down, it's going to be pretty bearish. GME has a pretty short squeeze going on, and these currently consolidating right now. I would let this one work for a bit before touching this. MSTR, this broke out of this squeeze here and kind of sold off the other day, but I think this is gonna consolidate for a few more days and make a run again. I will let this one work too for a bit. This one doesn't have any clear sign right now. This one has just been running. Wait for it to give you a setup. Looks bullish so far. So Neo kind of failed the breakout here, but I would watch for it to break this trend line over the next few days if the market gets a little stable. Wait for it to retest and then break. It was forming a nice consolidation, but it failed from the market sell-off. This one has been running. I would not try to chase it. I would let it work for a bit. They also had earnings. How was the earnings? Was it good? I have done Amazon, yes. I think Amazon is gonna take a couple of months before it pops, along with Microsoft, Facebook, Apple. I mean, Apple may pop soon. Apple is hard to say when it's gonna pop, but I think everything else is gonna take some time.
Hello.
Wow. I don't know why this sold off here, but this has been squeezing pretty tight here. See, they're gonna make or break again from this level. A lot of inside candles. This one has been using 8-day EMA as a support all these days, and it's about to cross 10-day. If it does, I would let it work for a bit. Stop loss on laser if it falls below 29.89. That's probably where I would keep the stop loss at this point. Actually, hold on. I have done my MCD, yes. Yeah, this is a good support level, 29.5. This where I would keep the stop loss for laser. I'm gonna post it in the channel so people won't yell at me later. MCD, this is currently working here. I would. So what calls do you want to buy for February? So 230 it can reach, yes, but it needs to break out of this consolidation range, which can take a month or two. For Apple, I already cut my calls. So and for MCD, if you want to buy March calls, I think you'll be okay. Already went over Boeing DC. With March calls, I think you'll be okay. I think it'll hit 230 by March once it doesn't have a lot of room to squeeze. It should break out of here sometime by February and March. If you want to be more safe, you can go out even farther. April, July. I forgot when they have monthlies after that. Piton is a stock I am bullish on. It broke out of this consolidation range, broke out of this wedge, has been running, but sold off from the market sell off. Something to keep an eye on. I think these gonna reverse again and make new all-time highs.
May back po na malaki dati. Baka si Jamel.
Hey, could you please mute yourself, man? So for net, I would let this one work for the time being. Looks like this is trying to do something here. Making an ascending channel. I will let this, I think this is gonna bounce here going into Monday. So for February 1995C, I think you should be okay. Just take the profits when you see them. Don't try to bag hold it. This one is a penny stock. I can't do penny stock. This one's hard to say. This thing isn't even loading. CRYX. Hey, please mute your mic, whoever that is. I'm pretty tired right now. Should break out of this channel soon. Wait. I wouldn't touch this one for the time being. I will let it work. See if it bounces from this level, or because this is currently a bearish RSI divergence and this is going up. But this could be because of the market sell-off on Friday. So I would let this one work for a bit. See if it bounces and makes new all-time highs or comes back down and drops. Snow has been lagging from the lack of market sell-off these past few weeks. Just the market hasn't been doing too well. This was a nice falling wedge. It broke out here, but it couldn't continue the trend. It's still going sideways, squeezing in, making another trend. But going into this week, I think this will, if the market is favorable, I think this will make start running again. Already went over pins. Please look at the previous recorded videos. TTD, this one doesn't look too great right now. This also looks bearish here. I would let this one work for a bit. Doesn't look too great. Currently, this is going sideways, squeezing in this range. I'm gonna have to end the session here soon, guys. It's 10 and I'm pretty tired. These penny stock, I don't do penny stocks, I'm sorry. I've done Amazon, Twitter. Twitter, this failed this breakout. The news didn't do well for this stock. Currently squeezing in this range. I expect these gonna reverse here anyway, just like Baba did. Just like this one. I think that's what's gonna happen for Twitter. This was just a new sell-off from them banning Trump. I think it's gonna go back up again. I already went over H3. Please look at the recorded lecture. This is DSE is making. I already went over DSE and HEC as well. Look at the recorded lecture. Look at this video. Go back at the beginning. I already went over all of them. FSLY, this is currently making upward channel. This kind of reversed here from this range. This is making a long-term megaphone. I think this one's gonna keep going up, making all-time highs from here, as long as I don't get any major catalyst. They do have earnings coming up though. Wait, they have earnings coming up. They're gonna release a guidance here soon. I think that's gonna be a make or break for this stock. The last time they had released their early guidance, this one gapped down and dropped all the way here. So just keep an eye out for their next guidance. If that's good, it's gonna keep rallying. If that's bad, it's gonna tank again, most likely. TLT, this one's hard to say. A lot of squeeze here for like what? Since August? Wow, this is a pretty long downward trend. I don't really like this one. I would wait for this to break out of this range to play this. For Apple, I already stopped because it already failed the breakout here. But right now, I would keep a stop loss below this 126.29 level. Below this level is where I would keep a stop loss if you're still holding any Apple calls. But if it breaks 130.55, this is gonna keep running. Wow, there's a long list. All right, did I go over everything real? I think I went over everything.
All right, Cal. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you,
There are
Cal.
a couple. Hold on. There are a couple still. CRM, this one's still going sideways at the bottom of this range. I would watch for it to bounce any day now. But CRM bot work, right? Yeah. I would wait for that work acquisition. I think this one's gonna bounce and make a run from the like after that merger is completed for CRM. Just a long squeeze going on. All right, now I completed everything. All right, guys, this was a good session. I'm pretty tired. I gotta go to bed.
All right, Cal. Have a good night.
Sleep well.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Good night, Cal.
Good night.